It is related that on one occasion, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "May his nose be rubbed in the dust. May his nose be rubbed in the dust. May his nose be rubbed in the dust." His companions asked, "Who should be humiliated in such a way?" The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "That person who found his parents, one or both of them, approaching old age, but did not enter paradise by serving them." It is related that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "A person whose last words are the affirmation of testimony, La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah, shall enter paradise." Exhort your dying ones to affirm, La ilaha illallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. On the authority of Abu Abd al-Rahman Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, "The Messenger of Allah, may the blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, and he is the truthful, the believed," narrated to us. "Verily, the creation of each one of you is brought together in his mother's belly for 40 days in the form of seed. Then he is a clot of blood for a like period, then a morsel of flesh for a like period. Then there is sent to him the angel who blows the breath of life into him and who is commanded about 4 matters: to write down his means of livelihood, his lifespan, his actions, and whether happy or unhappy. By Allah, other than whom there is no God, verily one of you behaves like the people of paradise, until there is but an arm's length between him and it. And that which has been written overtakes him, so he behaves like the people of hellfire, and thus he enters it. And one of you behaves like the people of hellfire, until there is but an arm's length between him and it. And that which has been written overtakes him, and so he behaves like the people of paradise, and thus he enters it." It was related by Al-Bukhari and Muslim.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum.
Time is now 6 o'clock.
Once again, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to the Peterborough Property Guys on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. Hope you've had a great start to the week. This is our new time for the Property Guys. Normally we are 5 till 6 today, and moving forward it's going to be 6 till 7. You're with myself, Qasafi Sadiq, the host of the Property Guys, alongside my co-host Adam Cooper. Evening, Adam.
How you getting on, Qasafi? You alright?
Good. How are you? You alright?
Cool, I've been better this week. I managed to wake up this morning with a burst blood vessel in my foot, so I'm hopping along today, but we still made it here.
I know, I spoke to you this morning and we were kind of 50-50 about the show, but, you know, I managed to pull your arm a little bit, twist your arm a little bit.
I know, but I got here, Kaz, and there's no tea at all.
Oh, goodness.
I came on a promise of tea.
That's the remedy to your cure, isn't it?
I thought that was like the secret ingredient. My thought was going to like, bam.
It's got all the right spices in there and stuff.
That's what it is. Oh, you know. Well, next week.
Look, we could always go for a cup of tea afterwards if you really want it that much. But look, guys, we're bringing to you on Salam Radio every Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, our new time, the Peterborough Property Guys. So we're live on Salam Radio on 106.2 FM. You can listen to us online by visiting salamradio.co.uk or watch the show on our streaming services by searching Salam Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram or Twitter. If you do prefer mobile, then download the Salam Radio app through the App Store or Google Play. Salam Radio is always on air, 24/7, 365, uniting all communities. You can watch the repeat of the show by searching Salam Radio on our streaming services. So today's special guest for this week is Ahsan Khan. So Ahsan Khan is a finance professional with 20 years of experience of helping businesses succeed and grow in a variety of industries across the UK and USA, where he formerly lived. He's held various roles in both business and personal finance with large and small lenders. So he's currently working in the finance intermediary industry, helping people with various types of business finances as well as residential mortgages with access to over 100 lenders. Ahsan believes there's a solution for everyone out there. So if you're listening right now and you've got a question for Ahsan, who's going to be joining us later on in the show, then now is the time. If you're ever come across a situation where you've struggled getting a mortgage, whether it's commercial or residential, guys, give us a call, or get us on Facebook Live, ask a question. You can get us by dialing our studio number, which is 01733 602 1333, or you can text or WhatsApp on 077 45 278 978. Alternatively, like I mentioned, we're on Facebook Live, so you can ask us any question whatsoever about the Peterborough property market. The main topics that we're going to be discussing today is how home ownership among Peterborough young people has nearly halved in 20 years. And the other topic is going to be relevant to our guests, which is 25% of all Peterborough properties were bought without a mortgage in the last 7 years. So they're the two topics that we're going to be delving into more details. But before we do go on to those topics, as we do every week, guys, our co-host Adam Cooper is going to tell you why you should tune in to the Property Guys every week on a Tuesday on a new time at 6 o'clock and listen to us give you knowledge about the Peterborough property market.
Thank you very much, Qasafi. Well, guys, you should tune in every week and listen to us. Not because we're on here, well, that is a big reason, of course, but because of all the great guests that we bring on.
Definitely.
So, like Ash, we're bringing him on. You know, he's got years and years of experience in the mortgage industry. You know, you can ask these experts the questions, and we can get it the real life data to you there and then. You know, guys, because everything is always changing in the property world. Everything's changing, the regulations, the trends, you name it, it's changing. And together we're stronger. So let's keep together. Let's keep this information in one place. You know, we want to deliver it to you in 1 hour each week, so you can keep it ahead of the competition.
Absolutely brilliant, Adam. Thank you very much for that. Look, you know, we're in the sector. Obviously, you're a letting agent. I'm an estate agent. You've got, you know, between us, we've got 20 plus years of experience in the industry.
Cool, you make me feel old now, eh?
Well, look, I've got most of it, let's be honest, if that makes you feel better.
We'll give you that one.
But nevertheless, you know, you're a great expert in the industry. Let's not take that away from you, Adam. But, you know, what you mentioned about the guests that we got coming on our show. Last week we had Ray Spooner.
Yeah.
The week before we had Chris Watkins, who is an amazing guest. He's a property journalist. The likes of these guys coming on our show, you know, even their knowledge and listen to their side of the story about the property market, you know, it's absolutely amazing for people to listen to. So, guys, before we delve into the topics as mentioned, here are the headlines for today. I wish we had a beat or something, you know, to go with the headlines.
We need to make one, don't we? Like a cool background beat. That'd be cool.
So, guys, today's headlines. Peterborough families on housing benefit fighting it out for a single rental property, new analysis claims. Landlords are warned they will face fines up to £30,000 in the new council crackdown. According to Savills' latest Spotlight report, Peterborough property rental sector is high in demand and set to grow in 2020. So, Adam, that's great news for our landlords and investors out there. Do you not think?
It's always great news. Peterborough's going from strength to strength, because I mean, I've seen it over the years. I'm sure you have as well. The prices on all around has grown. The rental prices have grown. The property market prices have grown. You know, and the infrastructure is growing around us every single day. So I think it's a really exciting time for us, whoever's investing in Peterborough and buying in Peterborough, even if you're just a homeowner, because the prices are likely to go up and you're likely to do pretty well on your money. So, yeah, it's a really good time to buy in Peterborough, I believe.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And you know, if you're listening out there right now and you've got a question, then please do get in touch. As mentioned, you can get us on text or WhatsApp on 07745 278 978, or you could get us on Facebook Live and ask us a question regarding this matter. So, our first topic is home ownership among Peterborough young people has nearly halved in 20 years. So, the proportion of 25 to 34-year-olds who own their home in Peterborough has nearly halved in the last 20 years. So what does this mean for all the existing Peterborough landlords and homeowners together, with all those youngsters considering buying their first home?
Well, delving right into numbers in great detail, Qasafi, in Peterborough, there's been a 41.8% proportional drop in the number of 25 to 34-year-old owning their own home. That's crazy, isn't it? Between 1999 and 2019.
Doesn't that just show us that it's a more rental market at the moment than a buying market?
It is. We're living in a different generation, a different world. You know, they have different ways of thinking behind home ownership. You know, they move around a lot more. You know, they're not as committable. So that explains a massive drop in it. You know, and it's probably going to carry on going that way. Because I mean, looking at a corresponding yet smaller drop of 20.4% of 35 to 44-year-olds in owning their own home over the same time frame as well.
Okay.
So it's even going up to the older generation as
Wow.
well, sort of the baby boomers age.
Wow.
You know, so if you were born in the late 1980s or early 1990s, the dream owner home in Peterborough has reduced dramatically over the past 20 years,
Yes.
as young adults' wages and salaries are now much lower in relation to the prices.
Mm.
You know, in our prices, we were just saying just before the show started, weren't we, about how much they've flown up over the last few years. You know, especially since the time I've been in industry, I've been about, 8-9 years now. And God, I remember looking at prices around about 80,000-90,000 for ex-council houses in Peterborough.
Yeah.
And now they're like 150, 160 plus.
Mm.
And that's a really short space of time.
Absolutely.
I mean, nationally, looking at the average property values, they've grown by a whopping 186.9%.
Yeah, we mentioned that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, and yet
Shocking.
the average
Shockingly
income's
high.
only risen by 44.8%.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it still doesn't allow for inflation. So yeah, it's a real struggle sometimes for these guys. You know, looking at the Institute of Fiscal Studies, you know, said the recent average British home was just over 2.5 times higher in 2015, 2016 than in 95, 96 after allowing for inflation. Yet the average household income of 25 to 34-year-olds grew by only 22% in real terms over 20 years.
Wow.
So the property market looks like it wins every time.
Mm.
That's why we say it's best to buy now than it is to wait, because we always say property prices double on average every 10 years. You know, so it's really it's a strange new world we're living in with the way our perception is on renting and buying, especially in the younger generation.
It's really interesting. I mean, looking at the data in even greater detail, I mean, going back into the 1960s, we weren't always a huge home-owning nation. We always thought we were. I mean, how much truth is that in there?
Well, like I was saying, Qasafi, today 23.8% more 35 to 44-year-olds and 46.7% more 45 to 50-year-olds own their own home compared to 1969. And if you look at I've got a graph in front of me. Obviously, you can't look at the graph, but I can see the graph. You move the clock back to the early 1960s, you'll see the numbers are even starker. And the younger generation, Peter, has seen some ownership drop in the medium term.
Mm.
They will, in fact, end up inheriting their parents' home, though. Because even the older generation is buying later.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for
Guys, we'll see
Maghrib
you after
Azan.
the break, after the Maghrib break.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio, broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Hi guys, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our show, the Peterborough Property Guys. We went for a small break for the call of prayer. You're back listening to us, and we're going to continue with our show. And we were discussing about how home ownership among Peterborough young people has nearly halved in 20 years. And obviously Adam was just discussing that in more details of how that's different to going back up to the 1960s, moving onwards. So Adam, my next question is, obviously we mentioned that, you know, we
were just touching base, weren't we, about how saying about a lot of the younger generation nowadays seem like they're going to wait, don't they, to inherit their parents' home.
Yeah. So my kind of question was that no one is guaranteed to inherit the family home or even wait that long. I mean, so what could first-time buyers do to get on the property market?
To be honest, Qasafi, I would always strongly recommend seeing a mortgage advisor. Now, if something's a free appointment, costs them nothing. I mean, even if they've got no deposit, at least they know the state of their finances, the state of their credit, and how much money they would need to earn, and how much deposit they would need to buy a house. I mean, because when you actually look at the cost of buying a house when you're paying mortgage repayments compared to paying rent, generally you're always going to pay a lot higher in rent than you are in a mortgage payment.
Yeah, they say 25% more.
About 25% more, yeah. I know that was the case when I bought my first home.
Yeah.
I literally bought the house because of how much the rent was going to be on that type of property. Yeah. So over the long run, with the added saving of the mortgage cost being, it's a good £200-300 cheaper normally.
Yeah.
Then with the house prices doubling on average every 10 years, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
You got more security, you got less overheads, and you got more chance of making some money.
The good thing is we've got a mortgage advisor who's going to be coming to our show later on. So if you are listening right now and you've got any questions to, you know, our guest who's a mortgage advisor, then please do get in touch with us. We've already kind of mentioned our number. You can get us on Facebook Live, so do get involved. I mean, looking on the flip side of things, Adam, what does that mean for homeowners and landlords of Peterborough?
Well, for many tenants, I mean, renting's a positive choice at the minute because we just simply aren't building enough homes, as we always spoke about before.
Yeah.
We're not even hitting current demand, let alone eating into the lack of building over the last 35 years. So, I mean, demand's always going to outstrip supply. Home values will, over the medium to long term, rise above inflation, meaning it'll be a good overall investment as demand for rental properties increases. So, great news for Peterborough property landlords and Peterborough homeowners alike. I mean, the single biggest issue in the country and Peterborough today is that we just aren't building enough homes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it seems like the local area when you look around is covered in building sites. Because it is. You drive around anywhere in Peterborough nowadays and you'll always see a building site at the minute. But the fact is, it's still just not going to be enough. Now, residential property only takes up 1.2% of all the land in the country.
Wow, that is absolutely. You see, Chris Watkins a few weeks ago was on our show, and he asked that question to us: how much of the land is taken by property in the whole of the UK? And when he said 1.2%, I was quite surprised because I know someone mentioned, including the commercial side, it takes around about 7%, and even that's quite a low percentage considering.
It is. I mean, no one's ever suggesting, go cutting down the National Trust land or cutting down forests and all that sort of stuff. But there's so much more land we could utilise. Just like we were saying about the office conversions before, permit development to help get more residential, especially in city centres as well. You know, so while the efforts are there, the question is it enough?
So we've got some engagement on Facebook, like we do every week, which is absolutely amazing. So I want to shout out to the likes of Faisal Mahmood. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've got a couple of questions from Faisal too. We've got the likes of Ali Shan, who's watching. Ayaz Nawaz, shout out to Ayaz Nawaz for tuning in and watching and listening to our show. Waka Shafiq, Ahsan Yunus, Alias Ali, thank you for tuning in. If you guys got any questions, then please, by all means, do ask, and we will, and our guests will try to answer in the best of our knowledge. Got a question from Faisal Mahmood. He's actually said that he's listened to us from Durham. So shout out to Faisal from Durham. Thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us. What Faisal has said that we need a beat for our headlines.
We definitely need a beat, Faisal.
So,
if you can suggest one, mate, we'll be more than happy to listen.
Definitely. I think we do need a beat for a headline. Like, come on, Bibsy's got a beat for the headline. Sky News got one.
We need something dramatic, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, really get that tension up when we're doing the headlines.
Even Chris Watkins got a beat for his headlines.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I think we need to do something with that.
We definitely got to look at it.
I think even Amir Sulaiman's got a little beat for his headline, so I think we need to hold that against him. We'll have a chat with him about that. But a question from Faisal Mahmood. He's asked, in Europe, most people rent. I think that is where the UK is going. I think could it be a cultural change?
Could be, you know. I mean, we are turning more into a European sort of style and model, especially the German. You know, because that's where sort of people buy their first home in their 50s instead of their 20s.
Yeah.
And that correlates with how we're saying about people are more likely to inherit the home rather than buy it nowadays in sort of my generation.
Yeah.
So it is leaning more towards sort of the Eastern European way of doing things.
Absolutely, totally agree. Another question, for investment purposes, is it better to look outside of Peterborough in places like Spalding for purpose of rental income? Also, is it better to get 2-3 houses on a mortgage or one with cash? So that's a really good question, and that's a question that we can propose to Ahsan when he joins us in the second half of the show. But
definitely.
Give us your opinion and your side.
My thoughts are, 3 houses are better than one in terms of leverage.
Yeah.
And in terms of risk. In the day, if the bank's going to lend you their money at say 75% loan to value, you've only got to come out 25% of that mortgage.
Yeah.
So if you've got cash for one, you've actually probably got cash for 4. So you've probably got 4 deposits there.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Now, if 3 of them houses are paying and one stops paying, or one has repairs or whatever, you still got 3 lots of income. Whereas if you've got one cashed out, you get a lot bigger return because there's no mortgage to pay each month and the ROI is good. But if that source of income stops for whatever reason, that's your only source of income.
So why would you say 25% of the people in Peterborough are buying cash properties? What would the advantage be of that, and what would the reason be?
Just too rich, aren't they? No, I mean, I guess it's that old thing. We're scared of debt, aren't we? We're taught all debt is bad debt, but it's not necessarily the case. I mean, the bank's going to lend you money for an investment, and that's going to cash flow, and you're going to be able to then buy more. And that's good debt. Bad debt is like consumer debt, credit card debt that's spent on consuming consumer goods rather than something that's going to compound and work for you rather than against you. So I mean, it's that setting fear, aren't we? We're taught to save and pay things off, which is good for the most part. But in property, I don't believe it's the fastest way to grow or even the safest.
It's a long game, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It is a long game. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about house prices doubling on average every 10 years, how many houses do you want? Have you got one doubling or 4?
You can get quick wins, can't you? Though a lot of people tend to flip, and a lot of lending companies bridge loans.
They do.
6 months. If you can flip that quick, you can make a bit of a good raise, can't you?
You can. But you can do it with just 25% deposit again, even on the bridging loan.
Yeah.
So again, you could run. I'm not saying you should, guys, but you could run up to 4 bridging loans you want. I'd be mega stressed if I had 4 bridging loans at once, but you can do it. So it's just leveraging the bank's money. If they're going to give you that money, we work so hard for our hard-earned cash each year. We've seen wages aren't going up quick enough.
Yeah.
So we've got to look for alternative ways out there to earn that.
Yeah. What about his first question for investment purposes? Is it better to look for outside Peterborough or?
I think there's always little niche areas, isn't there? I mean, I haven't looked outside of Peterborough too much in them areas, but I hear a lot of people do. And I hear the prices are probably about a few years behind what we pay in central Peterborough at the minute. And it's a similar clientele base as well. So, I mean, I actually went to Boston just last week, and my God, it's like the way it's changed over there.
Yeah.
You've got all the major retailers there now. As soon as you drive in, there's new builds going up left, right and centre. So, again, there's a lot of growth happening there.
Okay.
And so, it's just about doing your due diligence, really, isn't it? Deciding what strategy you're after.
Looking into the city and what it's got to offer, the amenities, etc. Because, let's be honest, does the rental figure affect what the city provides?
Ooh, potentially, yeah. I mean, if you're going to have a lower rental figure, you probably, it's because there's not as much amenities around there for them to have.
Yeah.
I always think that's why we get such good money in Peterborough at the minute, because we
It's
have
growing.
a lot of infrastructure going up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, looking back, and again, even the last 5-10 years, the amount of stuff we have here now, especially with the younger generations do, it's just attracting the crowd in, isn't it?
I think the only thing Peterborough lacks at the moment, in my opinion, is a university.
But it's on the cards, though, eh?
It is on the cards, absolutely. I think once we get the university in Peterborough, I think that's just gonna, the rental market's just gonna go mental, isn't it? Do you not think? It's
It is.
It's really mental at the moment.
Oh, it is. I mean, I don't know about you, because I know all my properties I buy now, I have that in the back of my mind,
Yeah,
thinking,
absolutely.
where is it going to be? You know,
Looking forward.
Yeah, in the next 5-10 years, who's going to be renting this sort of property? What's the demand going to be like?
Yeah. Student lets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And our
Definitely
shared
something-
house model suits it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for all our listeners out there, you know, if you're a buy-to-let landlord, or you know you're an investor of such, then having that in the back of your mind is definitely going to be benefiting your portfolio. Something to look into.
And if not, you can always go lay on a new urban beach you're going to have, eh? Instead.
Absolutely.
You make the wrong decisions, just sunbathe all your worries away. Because that's what, it's a £120 million urban beach development going as well, isn't there?
Is that over in Hampton, isn't it?
No, that's over in Fletton Keys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they've got the urban beach in Fletton Keys, but they've also got the Hampton beach too. I'm not sure if you're aware of
Oh,
that.
the Hampton Beach. No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, you live in Hampton.
I
you
live
should know
right on
about
the edge
this.
of Hampton. Yeah, I live in Hempstead.
Yeah, so this is literally as soon as it's near the Mercedes garage.
Okay.
So as you come into Hampton from Yaxley,
Yeah.
sorry, not from Yaxley, from Fletton.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you come in on your left hand side, you'll see the reservoir they've built.
That's it.
And yeah, it's called the Hampton Beaches.
Oh man, I didn't know.
So
God, I'll take my towel on the weekend.
Even Peterborough's really developing quite rapidly, and I think if the university is on the agenda, it's definitely gonna have a huge effect on the rental sector.
100%, it will.
Yeah. Guys, don't go away. We're going to be going for a short break. Like I mentioned, we've got our special guest on the show who's going to be joining us on the second half of the show. Ahsan Khan is a financial advisor, a mortgage advisor. So if you've got any questions to ask, then please do get involved after the show. We're going to be on Facebook Live. Our studio number is 01733 602 133. Our mobile is 07745 278 978. See you in a short while.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no-win, no-fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf, with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the NatWest Bank. Accident Specialists. Start your successful claim today.
There's a million choices available for dining out in Leeds.
But if you want something special, there's only one name to remember.
Mumtaz Leeds.
Relax in our newly refurbished Riverside restaurant.
Enjoy exquisite home cooking from our brand new menu. Upgrade to the Mumtaz Leeds experience.
And the price? Well, we're better value than ever before.
Mumtaz Leeds, Chadwick Street, Leeds, LS10 1PJ. Call 0113 242 4211.
Free car parking available.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Al Murad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Al Murad Tiles, now open.
Gems and jewels. Wise sayings, interesting events, and moral lessons from Islamic history. Wise sayings from Fudail and Ibn Mubarak.
Fudail ibn Iyad said, "If you are not able to fast or pray, then know that you are shackled and confined by your sins." Allah the Exalted says,
Yes, whosoever earns evil and his sin has surrounded him, they are dwellers of the fire. They will dwell therein forever.
Ibn Mubarak said, "I saw that sins cause hearts to die, that base actions lead to their addiction, that avoiding sins is life for the heart, and that it is better for your soul for you to disobey it."
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome back to Salam Radio 106.2 FM. You are now
Zayd ibn Haritha is now
from
6:30.
one of the tribes of Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to Salam Radio. Right there, Salam Radio 106.2 FM. You're listening to the Peterborough Property Guys with myself, Adam Cooper, and my now co-host, Qasafi Sadiq, as well as our guest Ash Ajaz. So we're going to bring him back on. He's doing his re-debut after 18 years not been on live radio, guys. So it's a real special event here. He's now in sunny old Peterborough. So let me introduce him to Ash. How are you today?
Hey, thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, it's good to be back on the air after all these years.
No, I can't believe we've got an ex-radio host in here. And tell the viewers how long your radio show was. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so it was just something I used to do when I was attending university in Chicago, Northern Illinois University. That's where I did my undergrad. And I used to do a radio show every Saturday from 12 noon to 3 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I said to Adams is for our benefit of our listeners, thinking many of them are young listeners who might have not known about the technology. I mean, looking at the studio, it's so sleek and so smart, and the equipment is absolutely amazing with screens and, you'd think I'm talking ancient times, but the equipment I used to had to function with in those days was a lot more complicated, but no, so well done to you guys.
Oh, thanks, Ash. We're really blessed with our setup now, eh? From what you said, it must have been so complicated back in the day.
Absolutely.
And looks like we've got the famous Qasafi himself join us back.
Oh,
how you getting on, Qasafi?
I'm good, mate. Not so bad. I thought I'd have a quick little break. Good to be back on the show.
As always.
What have I missed?
Missed all the good bits,
Oh, have I?
Helicopter landings, all sorts, you name it. Free cookies. We did it all.
Oh, really?
No. Ash was just telling the viewers about how 18 years ago he used to host his 3-hour radio show.
Oh, yeah, he did mention that to me earlier on today. I was quite surprised.
Cool,
I was concerned that you're not going to come today. I'm going to do it by myself. I was like, how am I going to do it without Adam? And then you said to me, do it by yourself 3 hours. I was like, whoa.
We could just left Ash here on his own, eh?
I don't know. It's been I'm a bit rusty. I don't think you'd want to slot me in on my own. That'd be too risky.
Oh, so Ash, let's tell the audience a bit about what you do now then. So obviously we know you used to host a radio show. So what is it you specialise at now? What are you up to nowadays?
Sure. So I traded my radio hosting boots for now being a finance professional. So currently I am working in the finance intermediary market. I am working with an organization called Rainstone in London. We specialize in commercial finance, basically all sorts of business finance, you can name it, as well as residential mortgages as well. And that's what I've had the experience in for the last 10 years working in finance, and that's what I'm doing right now. Working with various types of clients, investors, individuals, businesses, companies, and working with a number of lenders.
Wow, that's really interesting. You must see all ends of the spectrum then in the market, you know. You see everything. So how have you noticed it change over the last 10 years then?
Last 10 years, so I think when I first joined the finance industry, so I joined in banking, and it was a time of we were just coming out of the recession, or just the time of recession, so things were a lot harder. I think I joined initially in personal banking, and then I joined started working in mortgages, and the market was really booming, I would say, 2012, 2013, that time.
Yeah, I mean, we were picking up then, weren't we? Really?
It was absolutely crazy, and I remember because I started looking for a property myself at the time, and this is in London. I don't know how things were outside of London, but London property market is absolutely crazy. Apparently, it's like, totally different to the rest of the country. And trying to buy a property, I think I was looking to buy a house for about a year, and so many times I was faced with a lot of disappointment. I would go property on the market for say 250, we would go to buy it, put a bid in, we find out property is actually sold for 325 or something crazy like that, way over the, because there was times I remember I went to view this house. It was a little 2-bed flat, and it was so busy, there was a queue outside. I was one of the first people, and you were only given literally like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to see the property. And sometimes you'd go in and 2 other people will join you, to come in, and you'll be in the house trying to view it. And there's 2 other people trying to, so, you're like, oh my God, it felt really uncomfortable. And then you'd be talking to each other. And then I think sometimes people would be saying something to the other person to put them off of this property, so they get it. Like, I don't know if this is the bathroom is a bit. I think it's leaking or something. So they put the other person off who's viewing it. So it was that type of thing. So that's when I joined, and that's what the market was like at the time.
Wow. So it took you just over a year then to find your own home in London? Yeah,
and I gave up actually for a while, and so what I had to do, I had to buy a brand new built property. So I had to put down a small deposit to reserve the plot before it was being built. So I think it was sort of 7 or 8 months in advance I had to put the money down. I think I put down like £1,000 to reserve this plot. It was quite weird, like literally just looking at computer pictures and floor maps and stuff, and you're like, oh my God, so I didn't see the property I was going to move into a week before I was going to move into. So I was stuck with what was there.
I know the exact feeling. I did the same. I bought a new build as well. And when we put our money down, it literally was just, this is your square of dirt here, guys. I get excited, and it's like, wow.
It's kind of like buying a plot for when you're going to be buried or something like that. It's one of those things. Not as bad, sorry.
It wasn't quite that depressing. Handing the cash over was almost that depressing, but I made it through. So actually, you've got quite an impressive track record. I mean, you've helped hundreds of UK letting agents grow the business. Oh no, you haven't. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong bit. Kaz has given me the wrong script there.
That's all right. That's all.
You've helped hundreds of people though grow their portfolios. Should I say?
I have
that way.
I have actually. So I worked with individuals. I worked in business banking. So I worked with companies, directors, investors who've been looking to either borrow money or trying to grow their business, or investing money into property or developing and things like that. So yeah, it's a very, very vast industry, and I feel honestly the UK market and UK financial industry, I feel it is so vast, and within the last few years I found this out as well, that it has grown even more, and the type of products that are out there, the type of options that are out there. And that is why one of the things in my bio that Qasafi said is I believe that there is a solution out for every person. And I strongly believe that there is a solution out for every person that's out there. You just have to speak to the right person, and that person, will find the solution for you.
So touching on that, Ash, because that kind of comes back to a bit about what we were saying, wasn't it? It's about the younger buyers. What would be your advice then for anyone who thinks they can't get a mortgage?
I would say when you think about when you've decided that, yep, you want to buy, I would say, you need to plan early rather than saying, oh, I want to buy a property tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Probably not a realistic goal. I think in current market and the current situation where we are, the housing market, and where the people's wages are and things like that, and how much of a difference it is and how the lender's acting like, I would say it's always good to research. I mean, maybe go and speak to an expert first. Maybe speak to a mortgage advisor, a mortgage broker, have a chat with someone at your bank. Maybe plan ahead. So even before you start looking at the property, just find out exactly what you afford, what else is out there. It requires a bit of work. I think when giving back to my example, I didn't know much about at the time, and I think as a first-time buyer, it's like you have absolutely no idea because it's such a vast field. Do a bit of research. You'll find various things out there. So I think the key thing is research, speaking to some experts, and then try and find out. You may not be able to do some things traditionally. So traditional way is putting down 10% deposit, borrowing 90%. But now there are other options available in the market where you can put down a 5% deposit and take a higher loan-to-value mortgage. There are some government schemes available still, like there's shared equity scheme. You can look into that. So again, speak to experts on that. There's shared ownership properties available, because obviously if it's out of your range, the house you're buying, you can only afford a certain percentage of it. You can buy it on sale, and that's what I did for my very first property. I only bought 40% share of the property because I was buying in London, and then you can staircase, so you can basically slowly buy more and more share until you buy 100%. So that's shared ownership, but there's various options available. But I would say speak to an expert, speak to someone out there, and prepare for the future.
So it's interesting. Again, you say about speaking to a bank. So as a first time buyer, looking at all the options, what would be the best? Would you say go to the bank, go to an independent broker who can shop the whole market? I mean, because you'll know better than most. Yeah,
so I worked in the bank, and I worked obviously as an independent broker as well. I mean, I think when you're first starting, it is not a bad idea to speak to your bank, because you know your bank. You can speak to, say, a mortgage advisor there. I mean, even to go and speak to a mortgage broker, they're not going to charge you for the meeting or just chatting to you and stuff. The thing is with the bank, they would only have the knowledge of what the bank can offer, and they will probably offer you what they can offer you. When you speak to a broker or someone who's a financial intermediary like myself, they have access to over 100 or hundreds of lenders, so they will know the market much better, because high street banks are what we call is tier 1 lenders, but there's various other lenders out there. There's tier 2, there's tier 3. So again, when you go to a broker, I guess you have a better chance. Perhaps they can look at the whole market, because when someone comes to talk to me, the things I ask them is upfront. So I would ask them, look at their pay slips. I would even ask them to bring in their their credit report. So then I know exactly where I stand with that customer. I'll know exactly what the credit history looked like. Is it very clean? Does it have some not so great things on there? What does their income look like? And based on that, I will try and place their application with a lender where I know the application will get accepted.
Precisely, yeah. Adding to that, I think you get more of a bespoke service from a financial broker rather than going to the bank.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of a story. One of my fellow agents, when he was buying his first property, and he actually chose an independent broker. What he discovered a couple of months through his application, that the rates had decreased.
Oh, really?
So what his broker did, got on the phone with him and said, look, can I just advise you to hold on for another month so you can get a cheaper rate for your mortgage?
Yeah.
Now, he said if that was a bank, they'd be looking at commissions and you know what I mean, bonuses, etc. So I guess that's another definitely a good reason to choose an independent broker rather than a bank.
That is a massive point you've made, Qasafi, and that was something I was going to touch upon as well, because brokers get preferential rates. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, a lot of people, when they think of a broker, they said, oh, I'm going to have to pay a broker fee. But when brokers get the intermediaries with all the banks, so when you go walk into a bank, the bank will give you one rate. But when you go to a broker, they have more options and more products available. That's just how things work. And also, this was a research that came out last year that 78% of the business in residential mortgages that the banks do are done through the intermediary market, so through brokers. And that is why, banks, they offer them that option. And even personally, like recently when I decided to go to my bank, I was like, all right, I just need to do a rate switch. So I went to my bank and they only offered me a 3-year and a 5-year rate. And I said, well, I only want a 2-year. They're like, we don't have a 2-year for you. We just offer 3-year and 5-year. So I rang up and then I just said, well, let me just have a look. And this was like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I spoke to one of the brokers and it's like, yeah, there's a 2-year rate available and it's much cheaper. Like, well, how come my bank doesn't have it? It's like, well, we get preferential rates. So, there are a lot of advantages. And they will be on your side. So when a broker charges you, they're working for you and they're trying to help you to obviously succeed and, reach, basically buy your dream home.
Well, exactly. They always say, pay good money for services, and any consumables, you drive the price down. So I always reckon with a broker, it's always worth paying the good money because, like you say, I've had it in the past where I've had one broker offer me a product where I can barely refinance any equity out of it, and the interest rate's through the roof. And another broker on the same thing has managed to offer me 20-30 grand out of the deal on the equity release and a cheaper rate because it's low interest. And yet you would have thought they're both independent brokers. But it goes to show, not every broker's the same.
No, it's true. It's true. So that's why, there are a lot of brokers out there, as people say, but and I'm sure you got to find the one that you get on with, and the one you'll be able to see how knowledgeable they are and how they can help you. So I think it's important to talk to the right person. So to go back to your question, definitely speak to an expert and do your own research and then prep for the future.
So we asked this question at the first part of the show, and as you're the expert in the industry, we'd like to ask you and see what your thoughts and opinion is.
Sure.
25% of all Peterborough properties. Obviously we're talking about Peterborough, but it'd be good to hear your side of it. 25% of all Peterborough properties are bought without a mortgage in the last 7 years. I'm not sure if that's as a whole. I know that's a study we've done in Peterborough, but what would you say? I know obviously Adam kind of said people have got a lot of money to spend, but
in my estimation, I think when I looked at that, I was like, straight away my mind started working. So I started thinking exactly, that's a pretty big percentage. What could be the reason? Could be many factors. So obviously this research has been done over the last 7 years. So again, that's been probably done from 2011 onwards, when the market was probably picking up, or even at that time, you could probably pick up a property at a really, really good price, find a good deal. Perhaps maybe there's some savvy investors out there. So this could also be impacted prior to when this additional 3% stamp duty came into to place. Could be. So again, it could be various factors. So it could be people maybe picking up an absolute bargain and not losing it. And it could be a property, they were picking up at a really good price. Also, it could be for a reason that maybe people don't know about the various smart finance options available that are now available in the market. Maybe they weren't available 3-4 years ago. Like even for investors who are buying properties at auctions and just renovating them and selling them, there's some amazing financial solutions out there, like bridging finance and things like there's some really smart development finance options available. So also there's various products available. Again, with Peterborough, I don't know. It could be also maybe investors coming from other parts of the country. So it could be maybe people coming from London, for example, where properties are out of reach and there's more people renting than buying. So a lot of people could be moving to Peterborough. Peterborough, when I say to Peterborough in London, because I know Peterborough, I've got a connection. They say, "Oh, Peterborough, where is that? It was up north." I was like, that's what they say. So, they say, "Oh, Cambridgeshire. Oh, yeah, that's quite far." I say, "Well, it's only 50 minutes train journey into King's Cross," which is absolutely amazing. And I am meeting more and more people who are living outside London now or buying outside London because that's where they can afford now. And if they can take a train journey, and it takes me to get into work, it takes me about 45 minutes from where I live, and I live in London. So to live slightly outside London, if it takes you about an hour and 15 to get into London, it saves you tons of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of our viewers actually mentioned that on Facebook, saying Peterborough has a good train link to London, which is attractive for some, who buy to rent.
Absolutely. I think
Certainly
that's
is.
a big plus for this town. And I think maybe that's why when you guys are the property experts or the property guys here, you probably know. You guys know how much the property values have gone up maybe in the last few years.
I think the last 5 years they've gone up by 25%, 27%. Sorry,
Yeah.
the last 5 years.
That's amazing.
So
That's
that
amazing.
is quite incredible.
Yeah.
It's a really good jump. So coming off that, what would you say an investor or even a homeowner, for that example, this could be a normal homeowner who's sold at a really good time and got a lot of equity, and they're looking to buy, say one for themselves living and a just a normal buy to let. If they've got the funds to buy the buy to let cash, how would you advise them on that? Would you say tie it all up in one?
Just depends. Just depends what they're looking to do. Because obviously with buy to let, you have the option of being on an interest only mortgage, as compared to when you have your own residence. Majority of the times the mortgage you're going to take will be repayment, which is capital and interest. So obviously your monthly payments will be a lot higher as compared to your investment property. Just also depends what you're buying your investment property for. Are you buying it to create another stream of income? So is it more important for you to have regular monthly payments coming in, so you do basically work out what the yield is on the property, or are you more in it to build equity? If you're buying outside London, I guess it's more of a game of better rental yields. I always compare things to London because that's where I live, and I think most people do. But in London, I think it's more of a long-term game, like trying to build equity. I build up so much equity. Now I'm going to sell my property after 10, 20 years. That'll help me pay off my residential mortgage and maybe have some money left over to go on a holiday or something like that. I think outside London, probably people do it to create that second income for them. So I think that's what I would say. Again, if they want to buy it all cash and don't really want to deal with any type of mortgages, that could be their choice. But I think I'm not a tax expert. You'd probably have to talk to someone doing tax. But I think when you have a property with you got a bit of mortgage and you're paying interest, I think you can offset some of the interest as well. I know government is kind of tightening down on it a bit more, and you're able to claim less and less, but at least that option is still there right now.
I was going to say, because that's been a topic over the last few years, hasn't it? About,
yeah.
I know myself, whenever I buy a property now, it has to go in a limited company because of because of tax.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then it's not everyone wants to run a limited company, because with a limited company, it may only be holding properties.
Yeah.
But you still got to conform to limited company standards with the filing of accounts. Make sure everything's in order.
Yeah.
Confirmation statements, you name it, you got to do it.
Absolutely. And the other thing is the properties you've already bought. You bought them in personal names, and now you want to buy more properties, so you can't really form a limited company now and transfer them into limited company, because that's going to incur you stamp duty again, because it's per se transfer of ownership, because it's going to the company's name now. So obviously you can't do that. So yeah, that's another thing. That's a good point that you made.
Yeah. I've heard of all sorts of ways people doing it. I've heard of people opening like management companies almost, where, and I'm not too familiar on this, I'm only talking from what I've seen, but they will open a management company, and the management company will manage the property that's in a personal name, and then they get around it that way somehow, because obviously it's capital gains tax and the stamp duty if you sell it to yourself and in a limited company, isn't it?
Yeah, I am not familiar with that. So again, you guys are the property guys, so you know more about it.
Yeah, we could leave that a dinner conversation.
Yeah, topic for another time maybe.
But I've got a question related to current affairs. I mean, we've got the Brexit scenario that's been going on for the best part of the year.
What was that again? I didn't hear that. What's going on?
Let me spell it out for you. Begins with the B, ends with the T.
It doesn't end. That's the thing, though.
That's it. Yeah. God knows when it's going to end.
Yeah.
But now more than ever, people are wondering whether they should buy, whether they should sell. Some people are panic buying. Some people are panic selling. I mean, in terms of mortgages, when someone does buy a house, or if someone's mortgage is coming to the end of the mortgage, what should be the best option for them to do, to kind of go on a variable rate or to fix it? Because I say that purely because of the current situation that we're in with the Brexit and the uncertainty.
I think there's no such thing as one size fit all in this scenario when it comes to finances and financial advice. I think everyone's circumstances and future plans are different. Just depends upon what their future plans are, what they're looking to do with their properties, maybe in the next 2 years or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Just depend on that. I would say because how uncertain the market is. Normally fixed rate is the option, and also but just depends on their circumstances. If you compare the two rates, there's not a huge difference. Okay. Again, I'm not an economist. I'm not an expert on interest rate or what Mark Carney will do tomorrow when he wakes up. But speculation always is, the interest rates are going up, but they have gone up in the last year or so from 0.25 to 0.75 now. Don't know after Brexit what's going to happen. Is there going to be another recession? The rates will have to be pulled back again? So there's a lot of uncertainty. And when there's a lot of uncertainty like that, I would say fixed rate, at least for the 2 years, could be a good option. But again, it's not one size fit all. It depends on the person's circumstances.
Amazing. Ahsan, thank you ever so much. It's been really insightful. I think we come into the end of the show in literally about a minute and 15 seconds. So before we do end, before Adam does wrap it up, we want to ask you one last question. You're quite a regular comer to Peterborough. What is it that you love about Peterborough? Literally, you got 30 seconds, and I think Adam's going to be wrapping it up.
You guys. Love you guys, basically. Yeah, I love this show. I know it's really nice. It's not too far. It's a good community, good place, very nice place. So I like coming here for that reason. No, thank you. And it was really, really great to be on the show today. So I thank you guys very much.
It's been a pleasure having you, Ash.
Thank you.
So then, our time is now up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If there's anything that you'd like us to discuss about the Peterborough property market, then please do get in touch, guys. We always want to bring you the value and bring you what you want to hear about on Salam FM. So, guys, get them questions in. Drop us a message. You can hit us up on the WhatsApp by 077745 278 978 or on 01733 602 133. Myself, Adam Cooper, I kind of co-hosted the show today with my other co-host, Qasafi. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us, and hope to see you guys next week. From ourselves, our special guest, same time next week with the Peterborough
property
guys.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Feel like some great tasting chicken tonight? Great meal deals, wraps, burgers and sides. We've got it all at Chicken Palace. Call and collect at 302 Lincoln Road on 01733 702 447 or 8 Park Road on 01733 343750. Chicken Palace, open 11 a.m. till late.
Here at Children of Adam, we believe water wells and hand pumps